This is the story of a man who broke boundaries, defied the odds, and reached heights that seemed impossible. He was a fighter pilot, a warrior, and a patriot. But above all, he was incredibly brave. His name? General Daniel Chappie James Jr., the very first black four-star general in U.S. military history. Let's start where it all began. In Pensacola, Florida, on February 11, 1920, Chappie was born the youngest of 17 children to Daniel and Lily Anna James. His father was a gas company laborer, and his mother, Liliana, was a teacher who understood that education could be a path to freedom. But living in a deeply segregated South, Liliana knew black children weren't receiving quality schooling, so she started her own. This wasn't your typical classroom. Alongside reading and math, she taught the neighborhood kids patriotism, resilience, and common sense. And that's exactly the message young Chappie heard every day, that he could be anything he wanted if he put in the work. His mother's words became his guiding light, and he carried her belief in excellence throughout his life. Growing up, Chappie was captivated by the planes flying over Pensacola Naval Air Station. He spent his teenage years dreaming of flying, despite never seeing a black pilot in the cockpit. But that didn't discourage him. In high school, he earned the nickname Chappie, and although it started as Little Chappie to match his older brother's name, his towering 6 feet 4 inches frame soon erased the little. Football earned him a scholarship to Tuskegee Institute, a legendary black college in Alabama. And while his original focus was on sports, destiny had something else in mind. At Tuskegee, he got his first real shot at aviation. With World War II underway, Tuskegee offered a new civilian pilot training program for black students. Chappie seized his chance, taking to the skies with the confidence that would define him for years to come. By 1943, he had earned his pilot's license and joined the famed Tuskegee Airmen, the first group of black military pilots in the United States. Chappie wasn't just training to fly, he was stepping into a world where he was determined to prove that a black man could not only belong, but lead. In his early years with the Army Air Corps, Chappie wasn't deployed overseas, spending his time training other pilots instead. Yet, even at home, he was breaking barriers by being among the first black men to serve in such a role. When the Korean War erupted, he was sent to South Korea, where he flew over 100 combat missions, supporting United Nations troops in close air support missions. His skill, bravery, and composure earned him the Distinguished Flying Cross. Then came Vietnam. By this time, Chappie had risen through the ranks, building a reputation as an outstanding leader and a tactical genius. In 1966, he was assigned as Deputy Commander of Operations for the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing at Ubon Royal Thai Air Force Base. His unit was commanded by the legendary Colonel Robin Olds, who soon recognized Chappie's brilliance and chose him as his Vice Wing Commander. Together, they became known as Black Man and Robin, a moniker that reflected their deep respect for one another and their partnership in combat. If you're enjoying this journey through history so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories of courage, resilience, and excellence. The two would go on to plan one of the most successful air missions of the Vietnam War, Operation Bolo. Designed to lure North Vietnamese MiG-21 fighters into an ambush, Operation Bolo saw Chappie and his men fly F-4 Phantoms disguised as slower, unarmed bombers. The ruse worked, and the ambush was a massive success. In one mission, they downed 7 enemy aircraft without losing a single American plane. It was a turning point in the war, and the 8th Fighter Wing became known as the Wolfpack, cementing Chappie's place as a hero not just within the Air Force but across the entire military. But Chappie's challenges weren't limited to the skies. Back on the ground, he faced discrimination and isolation. Many doubted his capabilities because of his race, but Chappie believed that skill could silence critics. He once said, "The power of excellence is overwhelming. It is always in demand and no one cares about its color." He lived by these words, showing his critics that skill, leadership, and bravery were more powerful than any prejudice he faced. In 1969, Chappie's courage was tested again when he was assigned as the commander of Wheelus Air Base in Libya. It was a volatile time. Muammar Gaddafi had just seized power, and anti-American sentiment was high. When Gaddafi ordered a column of armed vehicles to drive through the base's housing area, Chappie met him face to face, both men armed. Standing his ground, Chappie confronted Gaddafi and ordered him to leave, showing not only his composure but the strength of his leadership. His courage ensured a peaceful withdrawal from Libya, even as tensions ran high. This mission was noticed by top military officials, and in 1970, Chappie was promoted to Brigadier General, becoming the first black general in the U.S. Air Force. His achievements didn't stop there. By 1974, he was promoted again, this time to Lieutenant General as Vice Commander of the Military Airlift Command. Then, on September 1, 1975, he made history once more. Chappie was promoted to 4-star general, becoming the first black person in any branch of the U.S. military to hold this rank. Along with this honor, he took on the role of commander of NORAD, which is North American Aerospace Defense Command, overseeing the aerospace defense of the United States and Canada. What's impressive is that he started off as a young boy from segregated Pensacola, once told he couldn't dream of a career in aviation, now responsible for the air defense of 2 nations. Chappie's journey was more than a personal victory. It showed the progress and potential of a nation still grappling with its divisions. Chappie's final assignment before retiring was as a special assistant to the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force. His speeches on patriotism and unity echoed through the halls of Congress and inspired countless young Americans. He told audiences to serve their country with pride, regardless of the challenges they faced. His words were so powerful that many were entered into the congressional record, and his impact on the military and the country was profound. Chappie retired in early 1978, but sadly, just 24 days after his retirement, he suffered a heart attack and passed away at the age of 58. He was buried with full honors at Arlington National Cemetery, a fitting resting place for a man who had given so much to his country. Today, Chappie's legacy lives on. His hometown of Pensacola celebrates General Daniel Chappie James Day every February 11th, and in 2020, the Pensacola Bay Bridge was renamed in his honor. Tuskegee University also dedicated its aerospace center to him, ensuring his story continues to inspire future generations of aviators and leaders. Chappie's journey was one of courage, resilience, and an unyielding commitment to excellence. He faced a military that wasn't ready to fully accept him, but he didn't let prejudice stand in his way. Instead, he pushed forward, proving that determination and skill could break down any barrier. Reflecting on his life, he once said, "If my making an advancement can serve as some kind of spark to some young black or other minority, it will be worth all the years, all the blood and sweat it took in getting here." So, the next time you hear about American heroes, remember General Daniel Chappie James Jr. He wasn't just a 4-star general, he was a symbol of what's possible when excellence becomes your standard. What do you think? Does Chappie's story inspire you to push past limits and aim higher? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're curious about the unbelievable Operation Bolo he was a part of in Vietnam, then make sure to click on our next video to learn more about it.